Good evening guys, or should I say good morning, because today we're going to keep it easy and breezy with some delicious brunch recipes for you. I have some lovely ham and egg cup muffins. I also have some really fluffy pancakes, and we're going to finish it off with a delicious sweet and savory banana bread cake. So don't go away. So to start off our brunch bonanza, I have some egg muffin cups. Now, who does not love a bit of scrambled eggs in the morning? So we'll start off with a muffin tin, okay? I've got some deep ones so that we can really make the most of the space in here. We're gonna use some deli ham. We've got deli cut ham. We have grated cheese, eggs. I'm gonna flavor it a bit with some sun-dried tomatoes as well, just to give it a bit of a Mediterranean touch, and some more flavors with all the herbs and the oils and the spices that's already mixed in there, okay? So there's really nothing to it, so let's get cracking with our eggs. We're gonna be using 6 eggs today because you want enough scrambled eggs to fill our muffin cups. Now, if you do end up with any leftover eggs, just make a scrambled eggs on the side. Make some little omelette if you want. Don't waste anything, okay? That's my tip, do not waste. So we'll season our eggs now with a pinch of salt in here. We'll crack in some pepper, like I said, crack in some pepper. And I've got 2 sun-dried tomato bits in here, which we're gonna dice nice and finely so that it mixes in really well in here. And we'll get as much of the oil and the flavors and everything here so that we can season this and give it just a bit of a twist to the ordinary normal scrambled egg that we have every day. So we'll add these in with our eggs and give this a good punch of flavor. Now what I'm gonna do here as well is just add a little bit of that oil which has been sitting in there and infused with all the sun-dried tomato flavor, all those herbs, and give this a good punch. So now we'll beat and whisk our eggs till we get a nice, smooth and combined scrambled egg dish. So just before we start laying everything out, we'll add in our cheese. So get a good, generous handful of cheese, pour it in there, save a bit so that we can just drizzle on top and decorate and sprinkle all our cups. So mix it in there so that it melts when you're cooking it and it combines everything deliciously. So next we'll start with the fun part, which is getting our hands dirty and laying out our cups. So we'll get a slice of ham, just lay it in here so you have a nice shape. And if you see that you have too much gap because we don't want it to go underneath, you just lay another one on top like so. So we have some nice little ham pockets here that we're going to fill with our eggs. We just make sure that you cover it nicely so there's no little leakage areas, because we don't want the cheese and the eggs and everything to just leak into the pan here, into the muffin tin. And using a ladle to help you, okay, just give it a good mix and get a generous amount of each and pour it in here. There we go. Till it's almost to the top. Now if you really want to be artistic, crack an egg on top and bake it so that you can have an actual baked egg on top of these muffins. So with these laid out, we'll put them in the oven at 180 degrees for 10 to 15 minutes, just making sure that the egg cooks the whole way through. These look great, guys. We've got some ready done muffins. They are nice and crispy on the top. The egg is really soft and fluffy, and it's all perfect and ready to eat. So let's just serve these up. These are quite delicate, so I'm going to get the spoon to help me and just lift it up. And you can see that it's all nice and set together. How amazing do these look? Now, just before we finish and serve it up, we're just gonna sprinkle a little bit of cheese on top whilst it's hot so that they can slowly melt just before we eat it. So there you go, just a little bit in the middle so that just residual heat can start to soften it up and melt. So let's give these a try, shall we? Oh, and they're so nice and moist. And what's great is that you can even keep the shape of that ham in there. So you have the crispy outside, the soft tender inside. Let's try it. So that is delicious. It's really cheesy. It's so moist because it's being kept in that ham, which is also really juicy. And you have that touch of flavor and fragrance from the sun-dried tomatoes to give it a little boost and a little tang to make it just slightly different to the ordinary. So winning, try it at home. Let me know, send me your photos, and don't go away because now I'm gonna be making some fluffy pancakes. What's more idyllic than fluffy pancakes on a Sunday morning? You wake up, the sun's rising, and you have some savory or sweet pancakes waiting for you. Now, every time I make pancakes, I always get questions of how do you make it so fluffy? So here is my secret. So I put 150 grams of self-raising flour in a bowl and 120 milliliters of milk. You can use whole milk. I've tried different kinds of milk and it still comes up the same. So that goes in there. And then 3 eggs. Now you can double up the recipes, just make sure that you use the even ratio of all the ingredients. Now, crack the eggs and separate the egg whites and the egg yolks. Right, just pass them from shell to shell, making sure that you don't get any egg yolk bits in there. So we've separated our egg whites and egg yolks. First, we'll be mixing our egg whites. We're going to whisk these until they peak and they turn into meringue because you're going to trap the air in here and use this as a secret to making it fluffy. You'll know when the egg whites are done when you can just flip your bowl upside down and everything stays in there. And that's what you want to try and achieve. We'll do the same with our whisk and just mix our other ingredients. So there we go, we've mixed this, it's time to combine it. So we're gonna fold this in here so that we can trap in all that air that we've whisked. So just mix it like that and fold it. And as you can see, this mixture, it's gonna be fluffy straight away. So try and keep as much of that air as possible, okay? Just fold it over. So there we go, we've mixed it. You can see already we've got all these air bubbles in there, that trapped air. That's gonna make this really fluffy and we're gonna just fry it straight away. In a small to medium sized pan, we'll put this over medium heat. We don't wanna go too hot at first and we'll just pour in a spoonful. Now, don't panic because the first one, most of the time will come out ugly. Don't panic, it might stick, but the next ones will come out very, very delicious. Now, I don't put any oil or any butter, just straight in the pan, just make sure it's a non-stick pan. And we'll use a spatula to start peeling it off the sides as soon as we start seeing the outsides start to change color and firm up. When you're cooking the pancakes, look out for these air pockets and these bubbles. When it starts to cook and you know the bottom is done, or at least the way I know the bottom is done, is by checking the bubbles. Once it starts to form in the middle and around the edges, then it's a bit more likely that it's ready to be flipped and you can pass your spatula directly underneath and just use it to help you and flip it over gently. And that easy, that's all there is to it. It takes at least a minute and a half on each side. Like I've got my temperature on number 5, so make sure that it's not too high. I say use your spatula to help you shape them into actual pancake, perfectly round shapes. Okay, this recipe has given us 5 pancakes, just about enough for one person, don't you think? So let's decorate them. Now, how do you like your pancakes in the morning? I know there's a very similar song to that. I like mine with bananas, fruit, and chocolate. Or if you're feeling something savory, some bacon and a fried egg. So let's start with the chocolate. So I'll do 1 layer of chocolate. So whenever you start your day with chocolate, you know it's going to be a good day. Just be generous and drizzle it on top. We'll cut some bananas. Now you get some nice yellow bananas ready to eat. And banana and chocolate is a classic. Just cut it straight on top. It doesn't matter how it falls. You can be like people I know who spend minutes decorating it and laying it out all beautiful and everything, but then you're just gonna eat it, so just go for it. So you go, banana there, get a spoon full of some strawberries, some berries, anything that your heart desires, because this is your breakfast, it's your Sunday morning, spoil yourself, treat yourself. Why not? Make it as gram-worthy as possible. You know you want to take a photo of this and show off your breakfast to all your friends. And just before we finish, we can give it one last little drizzle on top. I don't care what anyone says, this is an amazing breakfast. You have fruit, you have eggs, you have banana, and you have all the goodness you deserve on a weekend. So let's go for it, because this is saying, eat me. Go. Everything at once. Why not? So that is delicious. So there's no added sugar in there, just the sweetness from the chocolate and some bitterness from the berries. So they complement each other very well. And then you have that savoriness from the pancake, which balances out nicely. So you have a perfect Sunday treat for you. Go and enjoy it. And join me next as we make some banana bread. Our final recipe for this brunch installment is a banana bread. Now, banana bread is literally what it says on the label, almost bread, but more like cake made of banana. Now, we're going to use at least four ripe bananas. Now, if they go black, the mushier, the softer the banana, the better. So don't throw them away. A trick to get them to ripen a lot faster is wrap them in a plastic bag. So they'll start to go brown a lot quicker. So basically, we've got 175 grams of butter, self-raising flour, and a mix of caster sugar and demerara sugar, the brown one, soft sugar. And we're going to start beating everything. So we'll beat the butter with the sugar until it softens and starts to go creamy, and we'll add in the rest of our ingredients. So now that we've creamed it, we'll add in the eggs. So 2 eggs goes in here, the whole thing, and the bananas. 4 bananas are going to go in here. Just break them up in here. Scrunch them if you want. We're going to give this a nice mashing now, so that we break the banana down and soften it up completely, so that we can then turn this into a really creamy mixture. So like a cake batter that you see anywhere else, but I might leave 1 extra banana to one side so that we can decorate the top. So with our 4 bananas in, it's time to give this a good mashing. So get a masher or a fork and just squish this down so that you soften the banana enough so that we can give it a good whisk and make sure that everything is really nice and creamy. So this is the point where a really soft ripe banana is ideal. So don't worry, there's any chunks, because it's really nice that when you're eating the banana bread, if you have a little chunk or slice of banana in there, just a little extra treat. So now that we've given it a good mashing, it's time to add in the last 2 ingredients. So we'll get our whisk again, get our self-raising flour, and whisk and add at the same time. So that's it. Once we've given it a good whisk, it's time to add that last little ingredient, which is going to be a teaspoon of vanilla in here, some vanilla extract, and just give it a good stirring. So make sure it's combined with your mixture, and we'll pass it into a bread tin. Now I've lined this bread tin with greaseproof paper. First I buttered it, which is a nice little trick to make sure that the greaseproof paper sticks to the pan. And just pour it in evenly. Now this, you can smell that banana and that vanilla really strong. Your kitchen will smell wonderful. If you want to add some spices to it, you can add some mixed spice, some cinnamon, and just, it depends if you're making it in the autumn, make it really cozy and warm. If you're making it in the spring, just keep it nice and fresh. Just before we put this in the oven, I'm going to cut one last banana. Just cut it in half and lay out the banana slices on top, squish it down. And just as a final little touch, get some of your demerara sugar, just sprinkle it on top. That's going to melt and caramelize on top with this banana whilst it's in the oven. And we're going to put it in the oven for 1 hour at 170 degrees. We'll check on it with a knife, poke it. If it's clean, it's done. If not, we'll leave it a little bit longer, but just keep an eye on it as it's baking, and we'll enjoy it. This banana bread smells amazing. As soon as you open the oven, you can smell that sweetness from the vanilla and that sweetness from the banana, and oh, it's just amazing. So use our greaseproof paper to just lift it up, and you can tell straight away that it's going to be really moist. It's going to be nice and juicy. That banana's sort of released all that wetness it has inside, but it's kept really nice and fluffy and delicious. That sugar that we put on top has caramelized. It's got a lovely golden glow. I'm ready to try this. I mean, this smells amazing. So the best way to serve this is to let it cool a little bit. It's still best warm. So now we're just gonna cut it down so that it's really, and you can see, okay, the knife comes out a little bit dirty because of the bananas, but it will be nice and done inside. So the longer you let this cool for, it'll be a bit more firm, and you can enjoy this with a bit of jam. You can enjoy this with any topping you want. You could even mix some icing sugar with some water and drizzle it on top if you really want that extra sweetness, though I think this is going to be perfect with everything it's already got. So let's dig in. So I can't wait to try this. Let's give it a try and taste it. Oh, that smell of banana coming from this. Oh, qué bueno. Delicious. It's soft, it's fluffy, it's moist. That banana is rich, a touch of vanilla. What more could you want? So this is absolutely delicious. It's the perfect end to our brunch. It's the perfect tea time snack. You can have it any time of the day if you want something sweet, if you want something savory, and if you want something with banana, fruit, everything is in there. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you want 3 new recipes, join me next week for our season finale. And remember that you can find all these recipes on mamalotties.com. So I'll see you very, very soon. You can check out these tasty recipes and more by picking up a Mama Lotties cookbook or visiting mamalotties.com.